You are the center of your own universe. And the moment you understand the power that you possess as a person, the moment you understand that through knowing yourself, that is how you can be able to overcome the daily tribulation and the struggles that are going to be in your life. Because at the end of the day, in every situation that you found yourself in, it's all about conquering yourself. Yo, you're back once again, back with another lovely episode of the Motivational Maniac podcast. I go by the name of Thando Nkonyana, your host, back with another lovely episode of one of my favorite segments. I would greet this day and this episode in the holy name of Shiva, the one above, who made things possible. We are thankful for everything that he has done for us up until this point. Almighty Shiva, I'd like you to continue to inhibit my spirit, continue to work through me, continue by any means necessary to plant those seeds, those dreams that you have shown me are dreams that you know that I'm quite capable. The mere fact that I still think about them each and every day. We are quite thankful once again that we woke up in the right state of mind. The show must go on. And in the show going on, it's yet another episode where we take responsibility and take stock of where we currently are. This week has not even ended, and already I am beaming with confidence that there is still more that is going to happen, especially in the positive element of everything that I'm currently doing right now. And I just want to be grateful to the Almighty strength and for Him investing in my faith, most importantly, because it still also requires me to see that it can happen for me, other than thinking that there is an outside element to it. I do believe that I am the creator in human form, and most importantly, I am my ancestor living in the now. I'm an accumulation of all the people that have come before me. On my face sits the nose of my great grandfather, a great grandfather that I even never got to meet. But I still can be able to feel through all the struggle and the tribulation that I went through, acknowledging those are my ancestors. Onojawolo. It's so important for me to thank them kuyo yonke into that they have done for me throughout this journey. I can't do it alone. There's the creator, there's them as well. And also, it takes me as well, Guti. I instill myself in a way that I can be able to actually feel their presence, feel that they are still here protecting me. Sometimes I might not do the utmost things that reinforces that faith that I have in them, and in them is my ancestors, but they do live through me as well. I always believe that I never walk alone. I walk with each and every one of them, and whenever we turn a corner, they turn a corner with me. They're still guiding me. Um, Even though there are people who are going to be seeing this as he's praising the dead, I'd like to have my own interpretation to say that I am my grandfather and my grandmother and all these people that lived before me in the now. I'm experiencing the now through their own spirit as well. I wouldn't be here without their ultimate sacrifices. That's why it's so important for me to respect their rituals, to respect the custom, because it's what made us as a people. As people of the South, I always believe that the name Africa was the name that was given to us by the one that conquered us. The name was not Africa. And it's your responsibility as a person to go and do your necessary research to go find yourself. There's this song I love so much. I'm not a huge house fan, but I'm not sure, is it Prince Cape or something like that? But Msaki sings that song and says, "Fetch your life." When you are fetching your life, it's so important us as people of the South to understand, as Bantu, as melanated people, as the Moors, to realize in fetching our life is us fetching ourselves. And that's going back to the same roots that we came from. We are people of the sun. We are people of humanity. We are a welcoming people. but that doesn't happen for us if we don't acknowledge how beautiful and also how strong and how capable and how we've overcome all these prejudices, all these oppressions that have been given to us all throughout these years. And as much as we might want to blame the outside, we must also blame ourselves for our own ignorance. They say when a lie has been told so many times, so often, you start to believe it and you think that is the truth. And I think as melanated people and as oppressed people, because right now the oppression is no longer a physical oppression, it is a mental oppression. Right now, they found tools and means that they can be able to create so that we can enslave ourselves. And enslavement in the mind is the fundamental and the most scariest because I can relate to the great Steve Bantubiko when he talked about that the chains are in the mental. It's no longer physical chains right now. And that is means for them to actually control us as a people. Many people are going to be asking myself, who is he talking about when he says them? Whoever owns you and whoever feeds you controls you. You might relate it to a people, you might relate it to an entity that's on the outside, but whatever controls you feeds you, and whatever feeds you controls you, and vice versa. So, the reason why I'm talking about this is so that we can understand who we are as a people. Where do we actually come from? Where are we currently and where we are heading as a people? And I remember back in 2022, 2023, in my earliest content, I was talking about when are we going to start having the African gender? The African gender must be must be an agenda that is about empowering us as a people. But then, up until we start to actually be as honest as we can about where we are as a people, then we cannot be able to have the power to actually change that. We must also observe the educational system that we have actually bought into, that was not created to empower us as a people, that was not created to know more about ourselves, but instead, it's like we are going into a factory so that we can become workers for the very same system that was created. You cannot be able to change something that you're not aware of as a people. And that is why I'm speaking to my people, especially the melanated people, people of the South. I want you to realize that there is a power that you have, but you can only unlock that power through awareness. I did that in myself because what's happening on the outside, you cannot be able to change, but in within, that is the power that you actually do possess. I've started so much going back to the basics of learning the laws of nature, the laws of cause and effect. What you give out there is going to come back to you, and all these different kind of laws. Because my main conversation is not actually about underlining what those laws are about. It is your responsibility as the person who's going to view this to go out there and actually go and research about this law, because I want you to understand its power, its significance, and everything. So the reason why I want you to learn about these laws, it's because these laws, you are at the center of it. You are the center of your own universe. And the moment you understand the power that you possess as a person, the moment you understand that through knowing yourself, that is how you can be able to overcome the daily tribulation and the struggles that are going to be in your life. Because at the end of the day, in every situation that you found yourself in, it's all about conquering yourself. At one point, I always talk about my own journey, and I like to become an example, not just to myself, but to whoever who's going to be interacting with the content and listening to this, for you to go back in a time where you thought you couldn't be able to do what you're currently doing. But because we don't often take time to reflect and understand that we're already doing tons and tons of things that we actually had firstly had to plant the ideas in our own head to make them a reality, that we actually do not know that we conquered that. And I talked a lot about the series of mountains that we as people throughout this journey called life that we have to overcome. And that's why it's so important for us to equip ourselves with the necessary ingredients so that we become these climbers, so that you are not scared of climbing this mountain. Because once you are done with this very one, there's going to be a next one that you need to overcome as well. So this week, especially in my work life, has been one of victory. It took me to a place where of reminding myself, first of all, where my humble beginnings came. When I started where I started at work, I was so focused on how everyone was doing much better than me, instead of being aware that we all don't learn at the same pace. We're not going to get the same thing at the same thing. And you do yourself so much disservice by focusing on someone else's growth. But remember, that's only an opinion. You do not get to experience how that person sees. You cannot have their eyes. You do not have the same experiences as that person, other than being focused on, what? The control that I have is over myself. Yes, I know I'm going to be bad when I start, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't continue and persevere and understand that it's through you being like, it's through you sucking at first before you actually can become good. So I went from sucking to being less sucking, because that was the first thing that I had to focus on. I couldn't focus on being the best at that moment when I will actually start. And I think that is how each and every human being must approach every phase of life, because everyone is going to be new at something. I'm looking forward to finding myself in a position where I learn how to drive, I learn how to swim, and learn all these different kind of things, only because the person I'm trying to overcome is myself. It's not about someone else is doing it better than me. It's about I'm doing it better than myself. I'm doing it better than who I used to be. I'm challenging myself, because that is how we can be able to learn of our capabilities. And if we put ourselves in challenging situation. So they used my call, but the feedback that I got, I shouldn't let that get to my head, because that was only an outcome of what possessed me at that moment to be able to aspire to do my best so that I can become an example. And that one call was just an example of the intention that I put out there, firstly in the mental, so that I can be able to perform at a peak level. It's all about challenging the self. So you are the benchmark, first of all, in anything that you do. And in my journey, I'm so proud of the fact that I had to many, many times kill the ego. You cannot entirely kill it, because you do need it sometimes. But when you are in a position where you do not know, you constantly have to kill it. The reason why you have to kill it is so that you can be able to learn, because you are gonna learn in every phase of your life, every single day. And even the thing that I'm good at right now, I take moments where I actually seep in knowledge and perspective from people, even the people that I don't like. To me, it's not about whether I like you or not. It's about, can I be able to learn from you so that I can do better? Trying to find inspiration from things that have nothing to do with what I'm doing as well. Fundamentally, the basics, making sure that our vocabulary keeps on becoming at peak. You don't become a good speaker if you don't speak. You don't become a good reader if you don't read. You don't become good at anything that you aspire to be good at unless you do that consistently. Yes, you're going to trip, you're going to fall, but fundamentally, you are still trying to aspire to actually go up the ladder. So it's so important for us in anything that we aspire and want to do. We always ask ourselves, how can I get to the level where I can become best at this? Where that thing comes flawlessly. And this is where it goes back to habit stacking. One of my favorite ideas out of James Clear's book Atomic Habits. I'm gonna get the physical copy in the next couple of months. My next book right now is gonna be The Psychology of Money. And in this book, there's this one quote I love so much. It says, "No one is impressed by your possessions other than yourself." It still hit me, and that was when I read the digital version that I have, but I'm gonna get the physical version. And I'm sure the people that have tuned in a lot in my podcast, my motivations, have seen how I just love all these books, The Subtle Art of Giving a Fuck, the 12 Rules of Life by Jordan B. Peterson. Right now, from a good friend of mine, Amina Henry, I'm reading Beyond Order, which is the second edition of the 12 Rules of Life by Jordan B. Peterson, one of my favorite clinical psychologists. Um, I just finished Charlemagne the God's book a couple of hours ago, um, and that is Black Privilege, and it has the quote, "The opportunities come to those who create them." And I'm seeping so much information, and in this book by Charlemagne, he talks about putting the weed in the bag. We are not actually talking about literal weed in the bag, but he talks about when you aspire for what you want, there are times where you have to go and do that thing without getting paid, where you get to a point where even if you're not getting paid, but the reward of you becoming good and excelling and actually improving at that, that is the reward that far can exceed the amount of money that you can actually be paid. Sometimes in your life, for what you want, you have to do your job for free. It doesn't mean you're a slave. That's why I'm saying don't listen to the outside when it comes to those situations, because the amount of lessons and values that you are going to gain is so invaluable. Now, no amount of money can be able. Yes, I understand we have bills that we need to pay. But when it comes to your dream, there is a lot of sacrifice that you have to make. There's going to be sleepless nights. There are going to be times where you don't get paid. There's going to be times where it seems like you are not getting closer to the finish line. There are going to be many times where they close the door on you, but actually be glad that those things are happening, because they reinforce and make you even stronger. They make you even want what you want even further more. Like Eric Thomas says, every time they closed the door on me, I became excited because I know I'm not a no, I am one yes away. That is how you need to interpret all these different aspects that are happening to you. And my best friend, I just love talking about what my best friend told me. He says, all of these things, they become ingredients so that when the hard times come and you want to quit, then your bones will shake and remember all that buildup that you've had. Such an amazing individual that I actually met. And I always say that is how I see God and how He works. It's through the people that I have in my life. So I'm quite thankful for Him. But remember the benchmark that was made for this week. I was like, this is the win that I can build upon. I can make things even better and better and better and better and better. And putting myself in a position to win. There's this dude, man, Kitty J Seiko, I saw on social media. And he has this song, man, I just can't get this song off my mind, man. Moozy. The first line, ish. The song, bro. Wake up, think about the money. I ain't even got a snooze. Between a bed and a honey. Boozy. Shout out to Kitty J, my bro. And I commented in one of the posts on Facebook, Izolo, when I actually shared his status, and I said, thank you for the energy that you're putting it out there, bro. The way you're promoting yourself, you are a real definition of put yourself on. And it inspires me as well to be like, hey, I'm doing the most with my thing. That's why I must post every single day. Post. They must see this guy, motivation. They must see podcast. They must see, okay, this is the corner where we go for inspiration and so on. That's what I've actually like embedded myself into. Yes, I'm not saying I identify with that all the time, but I'm just saying to me, that's the decision I have made. It's associated with my gift. But shout out to you, Kitty J, Maji. Um, I hope everything that you want, Feto, becomes a reality, dog. And I'm just proud of you, Feto, and I'm inspired. And in everything that you do, I just take that energy and pump it into my stuff, man. And instead of being jealous, I choose to be inspired, bro. You're a rapper, I'm a motivational speaker, but bro, I see your work ethic, I see your hard work, and I appreciate that. And I just want to also tell people that it doesn't hurt you by supporting someone, man. It doesn't hurt you to tell that person, you know what, you inspire me. You really inspire me. You lose nothing. You definitely lose nothing. And supporting others is a way of supporting yourself as well. Clapping for others is a way of clapping for yourself as well. Like clap for people when their time has come, their success has come. Yours is also going to be coming because you're still grinding. You're still putting in the work. You're still appreciative. You put in good energy out there. You're humble, most importantly. Um, and whatever situation you find yourself in, you also have to remind yourself of how far you've actually come in order for you to get here as a person. So I'm grateful that Shiva has put me in this position. I wouldn't be here without him. And one of the fundamental reasons that I just want everyone to remember that you can't succeed on your own. You need people, but not just any kind of people. You need people that are going to pour into your cup. You need people that are going to reinforce your center. The reason why when they build a house, they start with the foundation is because of that. If the foundation ends steady, it's not built on solid ground, then when storms come, that house is going to be demolished. When I'm talking about the human foundations right now, like what is your foundation built on? Is it on steady ground? Are you really expecting the outside more than you're expecting from yourself? Do you think that you are making decisions right now that are actually solidifying that foundation? Are we running a race against ourselves, or are we trying to compete with who someone else is today? Have we ever take a moment to actually look of how far we've actually come to get ourselves here? Are we celebrating the small wins that we have on a daily basis? Look at these humble beginnings, man. I'm proud of all of this. It wouldn't have happened if I just sat there and I pitied myself. Like one of the recent current state of mind, I talked about that. Like, do you think I pitted myself into this podcast? I didn't, bro. I just had to take responsibility, bruh. Like I have a gift, bro, and the world needs to hear about this gift, but not importantly the world, but myself. I owe it to myself. That's who I try to prove a point to each and every day. The dreams just can't live here. They need to, and then they come into fruition. So I'm only a vessel. You're only a vessel, and even yourself right now, there's a gift that you have. But because you're not taking time to discover that gift, you're not going to be able to know what it is. And the only way you can is if you experiment. What is that one thing that you do so willingly that you don't mind even not getting paid for? What is that one thing that you do where hours and hours and hours can go by and still you lose sight? There's just some things that we embed ourselves in, and we need to realize that those things have an effect in terms of how tomorrow actually looks. We become so beautiful when we start to take care of the most important person, and that is ourselves. The outside is going to call you selfish. They're going to call you all different kinds of names, but trust me, I'd rather take care of me than relay that to the world. And you've come this far for you to give up. You're already in pain. Why not get a reward for the pain? You're already in pain right now. Either you are suffering your regrets or you're suffering your disciplines. And trust me, if you quit right now, you're going to have to live with yourself. Do you understand that we can't run away from ourselves wherever we go? There are all these numbing mechanisms that are existing in this world, either smoking, drinking, doing drugs, all these things where we are chasing an adrenaline, a dopamine high that once we achieve, it can become addictive. And that's the main thing that we're always going to chase, that dopamine effect, that dopamine effect. But eventually we have to start taking responsibility and face ourselves. That's why we have to sober up. Eventually you're going to have to quit these habits if you want to become a better version of yourself. But as long as you're still giving yourself justification to continue to destroy you, then nothing will change. It's not by chance that it will change. It's actually by action, by awareness, by conscious awareness, most importantly. So you need to face you. You need to look at you. Like, do you ever say that you put the blame on you that things didn't work out? It's always, they didn't like my thing. Oh, that person doesn't like me. Have you ever said that you let you down by thinking that they gonna love you more than you love yourself? Or you keeping it 100 with yourself? Huh? We want to keep it a buck and 100 with others, but we don't want to keep it a buck with ourselves. We give our all to people and then we suffer at the end of the day. And now we want to start to blame the outside. So and so wasn't there for me. So and so wasn't there for me. Have your own back, bro. You need to have your own back. Put yourself on. That opportunity that you keep on waiting for, thinking it's going to come from the outside, it's not, bro. You need to make it a reality. It ain't going to get better unless you get better. At the moment you think it's going to get easier, that's the moment you start falling into complacency. You think it was worth it, it will be easy. It's not going to be. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would do what I'm doing right now. But the thing is, nobody's you. Nobody is you. No one can duplicate you. They can do what you do, but nobody can do it like you do. It's time for you to thrive about your own uniqueness. No one brings to the table what you bring. No one speaks like me. No one has my ideas. No one has my thoughts. Only I do. So now why should I envy someone else's success when I know that that success is not what I want for myself, but I'm only envious of their success? But if I understand the hard works, the sacrifices that come with the result of that, people only see the results. They don't see the failures. They are so good at hating on your outcome, the success itself. But no one was there when you were failing and messing things up and trying again and going back to the drawing board and doing it again, over again, complacent, over again, you persevering until you get that result, you're experimenting, you're doing all the. No one is there for the trial and error phase. But they want to be envious. They didn't see the 3,800 tries. They only see the end result when you actually start to make a reality out of it. Everyone wants your success, but no one wants to make the sacrifices that you do. Everyone wants to be successful, but no one wants the sacrifices that come with that success. The disciplined version of you knows that they don't go there. They don't do that. They know very well You can't have your bread buttered both sides. You need to make a choice and you stick by the choice. You need to make a decision and continue to make that decision every single goddamn day. Am I going to move an inch closer or am I going to stay stagnant? It's either you're dying or you're evolving. That's a daily choice on a daily. Like, are you going to survive today or are you going to live? But ultimately, your choice is on you. So you better make sure that you make a choice that you can be able to live with. It doesn't matter what someone else thinks. Think about it. The decision that you're making today, in the next 10 to 20 years, are you going to be proud of that? Are you going to be happy about that? Not what someone else is going to be thinking. Not you succeeding, getting the degrees, getting all these materialistic things. But what about you? Are you going to be able to sit with yourself and say, I'm actually happy about the decision that I made? That's one of the things that we don't want to go and answer. But in us answering and actually going back, that is how we gain strength, perseverance, capability, initiative. Sending my love to Pongolutu Maholoana, my brother. Pongo sent me a message and he said, we keep going through the most, but we keep soldiering on. And my stepfather, shout out to the great Joshua Kula, he says, a luta continua means the struggle continues. Tough times don't last, man. Tough people do. And those who killed Giuliani mustn't die. They must suffer first. No one hurts you and gets away with it. You might not be there to witness the karma of their actions, but trust me, karma knows each and every address. That is one of the karmic laws that we must be aware of, one of the laws of nature. What you do will come back to you. So the good will come back to you. The bad will come back to you. Be able to accept both because you are capable. You are not good, you are not bad, you are just oscillating between the two. Oscillating. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad. But always strive to do good than bad. Do not be led by ulterior motives. Keep the circle small like Cheerios. Affirm yourself positively. Lead with purpose. Lead yourself before you lead others. Sweep your front door before you start telling other people about their front door. Fry your own fish and don't put your nose in other people's dish. Means be concerned about your own affairs than the affairs of others. Fix you. There's a lot that you haven't attended to, that you need to be attentive to. And once you start to do that, then you realize that the most important thing is fixing you, growing you, taking care of you. There are many versions of yourself that you will encounter in your life. Do not be attached to any of those versions because experiences will come and go, but they will shape you. There are times where we are holding on to identities of ourselves that are no longer serving us. You need to shake that off. Practice what you preach and live what you preach. If you are preaching that you are a man of honor, practice that honor. Be an embodiment of your teachings. Stick to your code, even if it means you are going to be alone. Stick to your words, your own promises. The promises you made to yourself are the most important ones. Be careful of mob mentality. Be very careful of mob mentality. And don't forget to love yourself. Take care of yourself. Honor thyself. Respect thyself. Take care of thyself. You are such an important relic. And one of my favorite hip hop lines from one of my hip hop artists that I love so much, he says, "Even a diamond in the rough is still a diamond." The pressure you are enduring right now is the same pressure that made that diamond that is precious, that you're buying with millions today and billions, is the same pressure that you must go through. And one of the most beautiful things that I read this week, and it's been a reminder of things that I've encountered, that the lotus flower grows in filth. Even in negative situations and environments, you can still grow. Focus on your growth, not what's around you. Because that negativity you're running away from is negativity you need so that you can see your own capabilities. Learn to handle the negative, don't avoid it. Learn to handle the hate. Continue to shine your light. And like Zoe Isaac said to me, never let anyone give you an opportunity to dim your light, Thando. Your light will irritate other people's darkness, but keep shining. Keep prospering, kings and queens. And the future belongs to those who create it. Make a choice today that I'm going to stop sabotaging myself. Instead, I'm going to put myself on. Read, listen to podcasts, educational podcasts, most importantly. Engage yourself in things that are going to build your mind. Learn how to be a creator more than a consumer. Excel. Work on your gift. If you don't know what your gift is, discover that gift. Ask the people that in your life, what is that one thing that you do so well? You could find the answers are already there for you. But up until you get to ask those questions, you never know. I am here for a reason. And as long as I still have breath in my body, I'll continue to do this. I am the motivational maniac. I go by the name of Thando Nkonyana. Thank you for tuning in to another lovely episode. We are heading towards the end of season 8. I can't believe that I'm almost near the 26th episode. This is episode 25 for season 8. Look at me go. Last segment is going to be coming on the next episode as well. That will be the last episode of season 8. Thank you to everyone who's joined us throughout the journey. Namaste and shalom.